The British Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
Good afternoon. My name is Vivek Nakra and here are your news updates to 1:30 p.m. As advance polls reopen today, Conservative Party leader John Rustad is holding a press conference to reveal a cost plan. Reporter Grace Miller has more on Rustad's announcement.
The Conservative Party of British Columbia is announcing a cost plan following criticism for a lack of financial planning. John Rustad, leader of the Conservative Party of BC, said originally that the party would release cost information gradually, with announcements individually. Now, just 5 days until regular voting begins for this provincial election, Rustad is responding to critics. This follows Rustad's election pledge unveiling yesterday for a new children's hospital in Surrey. The conference with Rustad's cost plan is currently scheduled for 11 a.m. this morning. I'm Grace Miller for BCIT's The Crow.
BC New Democrat leader David Eby has made an appeal to voters in the last few days of the provincial election campaign, warning the voters that a vote for the BC Conservatives will mean cuts to healthcare and growing cost.
I'm asking people to stick together to think very carefully about where they place their X on that ballot. I'll, of course, respect the decision of British Columbians, regardless of what decisions they make. But I don't think we've had an election where a vote has had this kind of significance for a generation.
Lawyers for the founders of the Drug User Liberation Front say criminal charges against the group's founders for operating a club are unconstitutional. Lawyer Tim Dixon has more on the story.
And that exposes them to all the risks that the toxic street supply entails, risks of death and risks of serious injury. And so we say it is arbitrary for the state to criminalize possession for the purposes of trafficking as it applies to Dolph's Compassion Club.
The Canadian Real Estate Association says home sales climbed 1.9% on a month-over-month basis in September. The national increase was led by Greater Vancouver and Victoria, as well as the Greater Toronto Area, Hamilton, Burlington, Montreal, and Quebec City. The association is downgrading its housing market forecast, saying now it expects the national market will remain in more of a holding pattern until next spring. It says the Bank of Canada's interest rate cuts have not shown the gradual improvement as expected. Corrective measures are underway to address a toxic climate of fear and intimidation at a French-language Montreal primary school in Quebec. Quebec's educational department has appointed 2 monitors at Bedford School. They started working today and have to report back by 30th November. The measures follow a report made last week saying that there was a dominant clan of teachers who imposed a very strict rule over students. Alberta's federal government has launched a campaign targeting the federal government's incoming emissions cap for the oil and gas sector. Premier Daniel Smith says that it is de facto production cap that would kill jobs and stifle the economy. The province's $7 million campaign also says that the federal regulations might make some changes later this year. The price for groceries, gas, and all other life necessities is expected to go up. North Carolina's governor now is speaking out about misinformation regarding federal disaster relief funding as the state recovers from Hurricane Helene. Shelley Elder from Associated Press has more on the story.
After significant misinformation and threats to response workers in North Carolina, Governor Roy Cooper says,
if you're participating in spreading this stuff, stop it.
FEMA Under Administrator Deanne Criswell is dealing with lies about their response to Helene.
It's heartbreaking to see words or acts of hatred toward anyone, let alone federal responders who are here to help people in this critical time.
Former President Trump and his allies have aftermath to spread false information about the Biden administration's response in the final weeks before the election. I'm Shelley Adler.
The weather today is cloudy with a temperature of 15 degrees Celsius. It is expected to rain tomorrow, which might continue until next Monday. That was your news updates to 1:30 p.m. My name is Vivek Nakra. Thanks for listening to BCIT's The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
Everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretnero.
And I'm Radhika Sikakane. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.
Good afternoon, sports fans. I'm Filip Kovacevic with your sports updates for 1:40. The Vancouver Canucks are hitting the ice against Tampa Bay Lightning with Artur Silovs as the starting goalie for tonight's game. While the starting lineup has yet to be announced, the team plans on having Arshdeep Bains and Aturati practice, occasionally play, and be assessed over the next 2 weeks, which could lead to something today. According to the official NHL website, the game tonight between the Edmonton Oilers and Philadelphia Flyers is the first game between Oilers captain Connor McDavid and Flyers forward Matvei Michikov, a rookie who got the first point of his NHL career, which was an assist. In a 6-3 loss to the Calgary Flames last Saturday, Edmonton, which came close to the Stanley Cup last season, is still looking for its first victory after being outscored 15-3 in its first 3 home games of the season. If the Oilers lose again, they will match the 2015-16 team with an 0-4-0 start. Christine Sinclair is hitting the field in her last professional game tonight with her team, the Portland Thorns, going against the Vancouver Whitecaps, girls' elite team in CONCACAF Women's Champions Cup play at BC Place Stadium. 41-year-old Canadian women's soccer legend boosted the profile of tonight's game by announcing her retirement next month. The Columbus Blue Jackets will be honoring Johnny Gaudreau during tonight's game opener against the Florida Panthers. Johnny and his brother Matthew died when they were hit by an alleged drunk driver. The deaths caused an outpouring of emotion and tributes from the entire hockey community and sports world. This Saturday, the BC Lions are hitting the turf to face the Montreal Alouettes. This comes after the Lions' victory over the Alouettes last September, which ended at 37-23 for the Lions. The Jets acquired wide receiver Devontae Adams from Raiders. 2 people who know about the deal told the Associated Press that the New York Jets agreed to terms to acquire wide receiver Devontae Adams from the Las Vegas Raiders, teaming him back up with the quarterback Aaron Rodgers. The Jets are sending a conditional 3rd-round pick in next year's draft that may become a 2nd-rounder, but is pending a physical. They told the AP on the condition they remain anonymous because the teams haven't announced the deal. The NFL Network was the first to report the trade. Prince William played flag football with teenagers at an event organized by the NFL. Children from Birmingham, Manchester, and London participated at Kennington Park field hockey pitch in South London. Phoebe Schuster, the captain of Britain's women's flag football team, advised William to embrace his inner Shakira by moving his hips when throwing an American football. During the 2028 Los Angeles Games, flag football will have its debut as an Olympic sport. The NFL has supported the growth of this game across the world as it seeks to win over younger fans and consumers for the future. Today's event was organized by NFL Foundation UK. Manchester United great Alex Ferguson is leaving his post as club ambassador at the end of the current season. A person with knowledge of this decision told the Associated Press. The person spoke on the condition of anonymity because the decision has not been made public. Ferguson is currently 82, and the person said the ending of his ambassadorship was amicable and he would always be welcome at Old Trafford. Ferguson won 13 Premier League titles with United and is viewed as one of the finest managers in soccer. He is United's most successful manager, winning 28 major trophies for them. He's been a club ambassador since retiring after leading United to its last league title in 2013. There is a series of test cricket matches between India and New Zealand. The matches will last five days and start tomorrow. Both teams are looking to secure a spot on the 2025 World Test Championship. India is very confident after dominating Bangladesh in a test series at 2-0. Those were your sports updates for 1:40. I'm Filip Kovacevic with BCIT's The Crow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
everything is changing to digital. Everything is online. People aren't just waiting for the 6 o'clock news anymore. People want their news right now. They want to be able to go onto their smartphone, onto the internet, and see the news that they want to see.
Vancouver is growing at, a really rapid rate, the Lower Mainland even, and with the tools that we're given here, we're able to cover all of that.
Welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Radhika Sikakane.
In the program, they really leave it up to you. I mean, the help is there when you need it, figuring out how to use the programs like Premiere, Audition, and figuring out how to use the cameras. But it's up to you to sort of experiment and figure out what you can do when you go out in the field.
They brought candles and flowers to remember the student who lost her life yesterday.
Theresa May says the international community condemns Moscow.
They really make sure that you know the basics and you are able to put out a quality product.
I'm Brady Tretanero.
And I'm Radhika Sikakane. Thank you for tuning in to BCIT Magazine.